Hey everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm Mark, and as always, I'm here with Jenny. Jenny, are you ready for another deep dive into the tech world?
Mark, I'm always ready. Especially when we're talking about something as fundamental as computer memory. I've been hearing whispers about the death of SRAM. Sounds dramatic, doesn't it?
It times dramatic, Jenny, and it's not just whispers. We're talking about SRAM, static random access memory, the workhorse of fast memory in our processors. It's hitting a wall, a physical, scientific wall.
Okay, wait, let me get this straight. SRAM is the fast memory, the stuff that makes our computers feel snappy, right? And it's dying?
Well, not dying times dying, but scaling down. For decades, we've been making transistors smaller and smaller, packing more memory into less space. That's Moore's law, right? But with SRAM, we're reaching the limits of how small we can go.
So what's stopping us? Is it like trying to build a house with grains of sand?
Kind of. It's quantum physics, actually. At these tiny scales, things get weird. Electrons don't behave predictably. We get something called transistor variability. Basically, each tiny transistor is a little bit different, and that makes it hard to keep the memory stable.
That sounds unstable. And expensive. I'm guessing this is why new processors aren't getting massive speed boosts from just shrinking things anymore?
Exactly. It's impacting power consumption too. Smaller transistors should times use less power, but the variability and the extra circuitry needed to compensate. It's eating into those gains. Oh man. This is the cool part. We're seeing companies try all sorts of new things because of this.
Like what? New types of memory? I've heard rumblings about MRAM and RRAM.
You got it. MRAM, resistive RAM, phase change memory. These are emerging time non-volatile memories. They're not based on storing electrical charge like SRAM. MRAM, for example, uses magnetic states.
Magnetic states. So, like a tiny compass needle pointing north or south?
Basically, yes. And the cool thing is, they hold their state even when the power is off. That's non-volatile. Like a flash drive, but potentially much faster.
Whoa! So my computer could remember everything, even after a power outage? That changes things.
It does. And these new memories can be packed much denser than SRAM. We're talking potentially 100 times more data in the same space.
That's a lot. But are they as fast as SRAM? I don't want my computer to suddenly feel sluggish.
That's the challenge. They're not quite as fast but they're getting closer. And companies are finding clever ways to use them. Think of it like this. You might have a small amount of superfast SRAM as a cache, and then a larger amount of MRAM or RRAM for the main memory.
A hybrid approach. Like a hybrid car, using the best of both worlds.
Precisely. And it's not just new memory types. Companies like AMD are using chiplets, building processors out of smaller, interconnected blocks. Their 3D V-cache is a great example of this.
So instead of one giant chip, it's like a bunch of Lego bricks clicked together?
Exactly. And they can stack memory on top of the processor, shortening the distance data has to travel. That speeds things up, even if the underlying SRAM isn't scaling.
It sounds like we're in a period of major transition. The old way is hitting its limits, and everyone's scrambling for solutions.
We are. And it's exciting. It's forcing innovation. We're seeing new materials, new architectures. It's a whole new era for computer memory.
But what about the cost? All this new tech sounds expensive. Will our computers get more expensive?
That's a valid concern. Initially, these new technologies will likely be more expensive. But as they mature and as production scales up, prices should come down. It's like any new technology. Early adopters pay a premium.
So we might see a period of higher prices, but eventually it'll balance out? It's a bit like the early days of SSDs, right? Super expensive at first, but now they are everywhere.
Exactly like that. And think about the benefits. Faster computers, more efficient data centers, maybe even new types of devices we haven't imagined yet. The potential is huge.
It's almost like we're witnessing a revolution in how computers store information. From electrical charges to magnetic states, it's a fundamental shift.
It is. And it's not just about speed and capacity. It's also about power efficiency. Data centers are consuming massive amounts of energy, and these new memories could help reduce that.
So it's a win-win-win? Faster, denser, and more energy-efficient memory? Sign me up!
Well, there are still challenges to overcome. These new memories are complex to manufacture, and there are reliability questions to address. But the research is moving fast, and I'm optimistic.
So what's the takeaway here, Mark? Is SRAM truly dead, or is it just evolving?
I'd say it's evolving. Traditional SRAM scaling is hitting its limits, but SRAM itself will still be around, probably in hybrid architectures alongside these new memory technologies. It's the end of an era, but the beginning of a new, even more exciting one.
A new era of memory. I like the sound of that. Thanks for breaking it down, Mark. I feel like I finally understand what's going on.
My pleasure, Jenny. And to our listeners, thanks for joining us on this journey into the future of computer memory. We'll be back next week with another fascinating topic.